Okay. Are people capable of doing a reaction, like giving us a thumbs up that you can hear us okay?
Able to?
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to just share a quick screen with you. First of all, let me say thank you all for attending. It's middle of the week. We know it's no small thing. It's 4 o'clock on the West Coast, 7 o'clock on the East Coast. It could be in the middle of dinner, maybe not home from work yet. So you're watching the recording. We appreciate you taking the time. What we try to do with these things is bring some real value. And that's what we're going to do tonight. And I'm proud to say that Ramon Otero is joining us tonight. He has become a friend of ours, he and his wife, Bobby. And when he showed me this little tool that he's going to demo for you tonight, it was a game changer. And you hear game changer a lot in the industry, and it was a game changer. It's a whole core component around an Ungetting Solved course that you all will be hearing about very soon. It's what allows us to really work at scale. One of the tools that allows us to work at scale. It's got a lot of cool things that it does in terms of freebie, what you get at the free level. The outcome is really the most important thing for you, which is show me that what I can sell and what I can't sell. Because there's nothing more challenging, and I'll share my screen right now, than coming across something like this. Awesome looking listing, and you're like, just ignore that part up there where you're like, oh yeah, look I could make bank on this thing. My cost is around $12. I include the rest of my costs. I look at this Keepa chart. I get some really nice pricing volatility in here, which is exactly the kind of space I want to be in. Anyway, nothing that is more stressful or that will bum you out than like coming across a listing. You're like, oh, this looks awesome. It meets all my criteria from a testability standpoint. And then you go to list it and you are gated. And so when you're doing searches in Keepa, when you're pulling up leads that you were reviewing, things can look awesome, and then they don't look awesome when you don't have approval to sell them. Ramon.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for developing this tool. Ramon is a coaching client of ours. I don't put my name on tools that I don't use all the time, but this one I use all the time. And to the point where I was saying, like, I use it not only in our business every day, but also in coursework that I'm releasing and that I share with our coaching clients. Before we really dive into this, I just want to mention at the end of this webinar, Ramon is going to give away 1 full year of GateKeep Pro to one of you who is here live. Thank you so much, Ramon. That is an excellent offer. Really appreciate you doing that. Tell me and tell everyone else here, what was the main pain point that you were experiencing in your own sourcing that made you sit down and develop this?
Long story short, I had shoulder surgery in October. And after the surgery, I was only comfortable in the bed or on a recliner, in the bed or the recliner. So I was on the laptop a lot. And then I also got hooked on 8 flips. So I was doing a ton of Keepa Product Finder searches. And every single thing that I find, I would have to click through to see if I was gated or ungated. And it got to the point where I was just wasting so much time. So because of that, I looked to see if anything could help me with there. And there was nothing available that would allow me to see what I was gated, ungated inside of Keepa. So that's how it came about. I created it.
So I find that this thing is pretty fast. Like when I'm in the middle of Keepa sourcing, or anytime I pull up a listing in Keepa, whether I'm on a deals page, on the Keepa Product Finder page, product viewer page, it's loading that really fast compared to a lot of other tools I used.
Well, what it does is in the background, it looks for the application page that you would normally click to go to. And it looks at how that page is designed and what's in it, and then determines from what page it picks up whether you're gated or not. The real limitation there is Amazon. Sometimes they'll throttle it. So it takes a little while for it to catch, not a little while, it takes like a second or two for the dots to catch up. Aside from that, there's no limitation.
So the speed is what's really important here. We're not really trying to do things one by one anymore. And that's one of the joys of this tool and working with bulk scanning and bulk matching tools these days, is we can scan, I don't know what, in my experience, it's 10 to 20 ASINs, the amount of time it would normally take us to look at 1 or 2 if we were looking at each product individually.
By the time you click something, go through and come back, GateKeep could have gone through 10 to 20 of them already just by scrolling.
There we go.
Oh, now I see you.
Okay. Now, can you see Brian and Ramon by any chance?
Like this.
Well, I can see you and Ramon, so it's good.
We're good.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, now our participants can see my screen. Good.
And the chat is working too. We're good.
All right. Okay, thank you all. All right. Well, here was where I was trying to start out. I have this great looking listing, a great looking Keepa chart, and lo and behold, I go up to see that if I'm using 3P Mercury, I'm not approved to sell that. If I'm logged in to Path Profit Zones, it says approval required. And Ramon, at this point, I'm going to turn it over to you to let you share your screen. Just wanted to make sure that that was going to be available to everyone. And just kind of walk us through the initial parts of, the mechanics of this. We've got just explained the dots, and often the yellow dot, seems like it's a no, but it's really just a pretty easy gate, or it's a pretty easy check, and you make it easy for everyone to just click right into, right?
Yes, sir. Can you see the screen file?
Yes.
All right. Let's just do a quick search. So when you're doing a Keepa product search, this is what you normally do, but you narrow it down with everything else, and then you find your products. So when the results pop up, you can see right next to each Amazon URL is the colored dot. Yellow means you need approval. And if you hit the pencil, click the pencil, it's going to take you right through to the approval page. And green means you're ungated in it, so that's perfectly fine. Red means you're restricted. So as you scroll, you see the dots update. So you could scroll through the whole thing if you want, or you could just hit scan all over here, which will scroll it for you to get all the ASINs and start checking in the background. You can see right here, it's checked 84 of them, and it'll just keep going until it catches up, so I have to scroll. But the good thing is, like, if I'm looking for something and I don't want to apply for anything, I just want to see things I'm only ungated in. I could turn off anything I need approval for or restricted, and then scroll, and everything I see, I am ungated for. So it's quite easy to see what you're gated for or ungated for just by doing that.
So it's just removing those out of the page, right?
Yes. If you're removing them out of your visual field view, however, you could still export it. If you click here, you could export whichever columns you want, whatever order you want, and it'll be the ones that you have filtered out. So if I did the filter where I just had the ungated ones,
Yeah.
if I export it, it's only going to export the ungated ones.
Right.
Export everything, just the ungated.
Right. So
even with GateKeep, if you export to Keepa, if I hit this right now, it's going to export every single one. It's not filtered to GateKeep. So it's going to give me the whole list. So only way to export it through filters is by using it up here.
So that's the magic that I was talking about earlier, is that you can do this in bulk across looking at a page right here, but do you mind demonstrating the actual bulk interface?
Sure. This is the option. The bulk is available in Pro mode.
Yeah.
And with the bulk mode, you can paste or upload a CSV of ASINs. And what it's going to do is it's going to check. I'm going to put one in right now. I saved one earlier. So these are just all ASINs I got from a Keepa Product Finder search. So when I hit start bulk search, you see right here what it's doing is it's checking the ASIN, it's doing a gate check, and it's also pulling the brand. So this way you can see exactly what it is. And right here in this column here means fresh, means that it just checked the ASIN now. It's not pulling it from cache, because you could set it up so that if it checked the ASIN yesterday, there's really no need to check it again today unless you specifically needed it to. So it works a lot faster if you have other ASINs you already check. But this is all fresh right here, just going. And also this can also be filtered just like the other ones and exported as a CSV. Well, right here is the approved brand hunter, which is new.
Yes. Tell me about this, because this is brand new. I haven't had a chance to demo this myself.
Yes, this is basically taking all the information from the bulk upload here, and it's showing you by brand how many of those ASINs are sellable, need approval, restricted, because sometimes even with the same brand, you can't sell everything from the same brand. But like, let's say Berkeley, if you wanted to see which ones they are, just hit that. And those are the two ASINs from Berkeley. And if I wanted to export that, I could export it just like that with there. But what it also does is you can have it show you, put your filter right here to show you opportunities. You could put, let me find with a brand with minimum sellable at a 3, which I didn't let it go that far, so we could just make it 2. With over 70% that I can sell, and it show opportunities, and it'll show you out of that whole list you just updated, these opportunities here where I could sell 2 of them, which is more than 70% of what I found of those. Just another way to get the data you need in a different form. If you click the brand, it's going to open a Keepa page with all the brand.
Perfect.
Just the brand. Here's now where you can filter it more, by sales number, by use all the regular, the advanced filters on it.
Got it. Okay. I see these are a lot of variations too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Question for you before we go away from here. When you're exporting the filtered CSV back in the Keepa Product Finder,
Yes.
how do you get the columns to match up with the correct info? Is there anything special you have to do?
Yes, you gotta make sure the Amazon URL is visible, the category and the brand.
Okay.
And you can do that when you configure the columns here.
Okay.
And as long as it's visible, that's how it's gonna work. It'll work that way. So if it's off the screen, it'll still work, but you won't see the dots. So you want to pull the Amazon URL column over into your field of view.
So basically that Amazon URL needs to be here visible on the screen in order for you to, but it doesn't impact how you're exporting any of the data?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Okay. Great. Now, one of the things that we come across in this industry a lot, Ramon, is that there's a lot of tools out there, and the number one thing they want you to do is connect to your Amazon account.
Everything here is done locally. All it's doing is relying on your Amazon Seller Central login and your Keepa login. Nothing is sent anywhere. The only thing that's sent is when you first send your license to activate it. Aside from that, everything is done locally in the background. So when it's checking the dots, it's actually going to Keepa Seller Central, the product page for the application, and seeing whether you're gated or not in it. Everything's all local. Nothing's sent over. All your credentials are staying with you.
And there's no connection, we don't have to connect GateKeep to Amazon because GateKeep is using your existing Amazon Seller Central login.
That's correct. Everything's right there in Chrome.
Yep. So no permission granting needed. So we like to, I like to just call that out because for a couple of reasons. It's a big trust factor for me. Like I try not to have my data spread everywhere that everyone has access to. But then also we want to make sure that your tool, any tool that we use, is not violating the terms of service while pulling that data. So I got a little clarification on the question. I think we were talking about doing the CSV file that we upload when we're in the bulk mode. I have noticed that I can import more than just the ASIN. Like I can do the ASIN, the brand name, the product description, everything. But bulk mode actually filters out just right down to the ASIN. Is that right?
That's correct. You can just throw a whole CSV in there. It's going to pull out the ASINs, or you could just, like sometimes I'll just copy a whole column and it keep a results.
Ramon, I'm going to send a shortcut to you in chat here real quick for you to go ahead and pull up something, because the next question is about, can you export only the brand so that you can put them in the Keepa search?
You could do it, but like if you were in bulk mode and you want to do this, you could just, when you click export CSV, it's going to ask you which columns you want. So if you only wanted the brand, you just hit brand and ASIN. And if you want it in a different order, you could change the order just by dragging and dropping. If you wanted the brand first, then we'll go that way.
Yes. So just I want to put a exclamation point on that function right there. Ramon, do you see that link that I put into the chat with you in Zoom here?
Yes, sir. Now I see it.
One of the challenges that you'll come across when you're doing operations in bulk is that you want to do a mining of a brand within Keepa Product Finder. And when you're in the Keepa Product Finder, if you wanted to filter by brand, scroll down to the next section, which I think is the pink section. And yeah, you can type in a brand right there. and you have to match it to a brand that's in the list. Well, if you've got a long list of ASINs brands that you're approved for, to type them in or paste them in one at a time takes a long time. With Ramon's tool, with GateKeep Pro in bulk mode, you can export all those brands that you're approved for and then go back to that Keepa links from a resource on the official Olson's page. And you just paste them right there. You can turn on a filter for minimum monthly sold if you want to, not required, a little bit farther down the page. And then you can generate your Keepa links, and it automatically seeds the Keepa Product Finder with those brands. So saves you quite a number of clicks to, like, if you, let's say, like in the demo that I did where I matched 10,000 products to listings, 10,000 listings to products in Arbosource, those 10,000 products, I wasn't approved to sell all of them, right? So what I want to do is just export the ones that I'm approved for, which I would use the GateKeep for, and then run a deeper Keepa Product Finder search using that tool. Hopefully that makes sense.
That's a cool tool. You showed me it, and that's very cool.
Yeah. Okay. One of the things we were just using this in Keepa Product Finder, but this works in other parts of Keepa too.
Well, if you're doing 8A flips, I'm sure you go to deals a lot, and it works just the same in deal. You see it right here, 150. So if I was going through this 150, I don't feel like scrolling, I'll just hit scan all and it'll go down. Well, most of them are blank anyway, so it changed it. Works the same exact way. If you see a skull and crossbones next instead of a pencil, that just means that the brand is generic. Just stay away from it. You still come across it every now and then and when you're searching some high ranked stuff. But this is actual time. I'm just scrolling and you can see it updating by itself.
And you can export from here too, right?
Turn them off, same thing, and export.
And what do you think the power here, what's really the leverage that you're getting by exporting your approved ones here?
By exporting your approved, you're not wasting any time with things you're gated in. If you really just want to focus on brands you're ungated in, ASINs you're ungated, and you could just pull them up like this, export them like that, and do what you need to do with them.
To me, well, I started to say this earlier and I got off track, but I have historically said, just because you're not approved for it right now doesn't mean you won't be approved for it in the future. And I still believe that 100%. One of the challenges that we have is the tools were starting to reach their maximum capacities, thanks to a lot of the bulk tools such as GateKeep, where, it seemed like it would be a long ways off in the future before I added, let's say, 100,000 leads to my 3P Mercury lead vault. I have one client that has almost 300,000 leads in there, right? So if you only export the things that you're approved in, the only thing you're putting into your lead vault, whatever solution you might be using, are the ones that you're approved for. So you're not wasting space, but also mostly cycles of yourself to look at that thing over and over again if you're not approved for it.
Good point. Very true.
So, okay. So let's see, can you explain the difference between the red and the yellow here, the red and yellow dots?
Red means you're restricted. Basically, you can't even apply to ungate, which everybody's seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow just means you can apply. So it's that approval needed.
Okay.
Also, here there's a counter just as you're scrolling. I came across non-restricted, 97 need application, and 44 sellable just by scrolling.
Yes. Great. Okay. From the deals page, can you go to the advanced filter and make changes? I don't think so, because we're on the deals page right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All we can do here is configure columns and export. Yeah. We can't do any advanced filtering from here. Show us the product finder real quick as well.
I just did that real quick to pull something up to test anything.
Got it. Taking a very small slice of data.
Yeah, and it bugged my mind out the first time I put the same rank in the same rank, and it comes up with more than one. 169 things have the same rank. So, okay, we're back here now. What do you want to see here?
On product viewer. Sorry, I wanted to see
viewer.
Yeah.
Let's load up some ASINs. So product viewer is the same thing as the other ones. Still get the dots right there. You can still turn them off and on if you want. Scroll, export.
One of the things about product viewer is great if you've got a wholesale list. then it's easy to upload UPCs right into that product viewer and do this exact same check.
Definitely saves time.
So let's talk about this, the time saving thing. If you're looking at the deals page again, a lot of times you're in a race for limited stock on these guys. How this is really helping you save time, isn't it?
Yes. Like when I was doing 8A flips at my sourcing day last week, all I did was leave the green on. It just saves so much time because I don't have to click in and go out. And if you're doing 8A flips, you know that some of the stuff is only available for like a minute. If you don't jump on it right away, you're not going to be able to buy it for the price. The good ones.
Yeah.
So it's a time saver in that sense. I just do that quite often when I'm scrolling here.
Okay. Great. Someone's asking, how do we upload UPCs to the product finder page? Yeah. Can you go back to Pro and Finder? And sorry.
We're talking about viewer?
Viewer, sorry. You just switch your toggle right there. Exactly. And then you paste in your EANs or UPCs up to 10,000 at a time, right into that field right there. And so if you get a price list from your supplier, you just copy up to 10K, paste them right in there. There's no special formatting needed. And then click on search and you're good to go. I know that because you were doing a lot of A to A flips and you were like, how many leads did you see coming through that you had to click into to see that you were, gated? So this is actually saving you a bunch of decision-making time, right? Decision fatigue.
You could see all the yellow dots here. That yellow and red dots you see here, it was a waste of a good 30 seconds for each one.
Yeah.
So even just right here, it's already a minute or two saved by just looking at it instead of the old way of clicking back and forth and clicking. It was just frustrating. It really was annoying me.
So real quick, you let me in on a little bit more of the backstory, which was you actually made this first for a different application.
And I was using Flip Alert just for 8A flip. So Flip Alert, when you set it up to give you notifications through Discord. So you set up your own server, and these will be my price alerts. So you can see here, these are actual live things. So I made it so I could see it real quick without going back and forth because there was no way to check eligibility without clicking check eligibility back to that. So to save time, I just made it like that real quick. This was the start of it, just those dots. And it evolved into all the other features.
Yes. Love it. Okay. When you are ungated for some brands in the detail pages, but many of the brands products you need approval for, what extra considerations should you make to keep from getting gated after products you've purchased is sent to FBA suddenly get gated? This happened to me a couple of days ago where I bought 6 pieces. I sold 3 and then I had to remove 3. Not necessarily a GateKeep thing, but Ramon, what's your take on that?
My take is there's nothing you can do really.
Yeah.
Amazon could just change their mind anytime. And then when it happens to me, I just try to sell real quick to give me a little leeway. And if not, I bring it back. It goes on eBay. Unless I want to keep it, but no, it goes on eBay.
Yeah, you got to have outlets, right? Outlet channels. So eBay's good. Walmart can be good. There's other ones too, like Facebook Marketplace, Mercari, and Poshmark. So talk to us about the different levels that you have here within GateKeep. I know you've got a free tier, which has limited functionality. Well, I think it has both. Yeah.
The free tier gives you 50 searches a day, just so you can see the power of it and what it would do and if it's beneficial for you. The free tier doesn't have the bulk, doesn't have the history. Also, you could open your history, and it'll show you everything you've searched before. This is your history. Up top, it gives you a little intelligence regarding it. 21% of the ASINs I checked. It says I'm restricted in. It tells you the top restricted brands, top restricted categories, just to give you an idea of maybe you're wasting your time doing a certain thing or searching a certain thing. It's just helpful to know.
Hey, every bit of intel that we can get just helps us save time in the future. So let me make sure I'm reading this right. Your top restricted categories here, it says 57% you're restricted in for office categories, but there were only 7 ASINs there. So, okay, I see. And then your top restricted brands where you're 100% restricted, which would make sense. Oh, look at that. You're only 25% restricted in Adidas though. That's great.
Yeah, I could sell most Adidas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. Can you show us again how you got to that history information, the history tab?
Sure. When you open up down here, also one other thing, you could turn it off. If you click it, it's turned off and it won't check. Let's say you want to just do something really quick and you didn't want the background to check your thing, you can and then click it back so it's green. You hit the options, and down here is the history.
I have noticed this too, where it misses the brand. And I don't know if that's just a limitation that we're getting back from Amazon at the time that we're checking.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes it just won't pick it up for some reason. I wish I knew, but if you do hit fetch missing brands, it will pick it up.
Yeah. So next question was, if you export this into a CSV file, can it be imported into 3P Mercury?
Yes.
I think you wouldn't want to export this though, because do you have the same information that you would get on your Keepa export?
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing? Okay. Okay, good. And do you have an affiliate link, Ramon?
No, I don't actually.
Okay.
Not yet. Let's say that. Okay. Not
No affiliate solution yet.
later.
And Robin, I did actually answer that question, or Ramon answered that question. There's no great way to stop from being gated after you've already purchased.
Yeah. Nothing you can do about that one.
So what I wanted to do here though is just talk briefly about the 4-tier gating system that exists with Amazon and why you might be, let's say, Kohler, like what you have showing up on your list right now. You can be approved for the brand, but then there's 3 additional tiers below that. And they are category, subcategory, and then finally ASIN. So those 4 levels are where a gating is applied. So the least restrictive is going to be the highest level, which is the brand name. The next level of gating would be category. And some of you may have experienced this where you were approved to sell Betty Crocker, but you were not approved to sell grocery. So it seems it's a little confusing sometimes when that happens. Then there are sometimes some subcategories that can apply an additional gate. And then the final level is ASIN. And the ASIN level is the most granular level. So you could be approved like Ramon was with Adidas, at the brand level. But then there will be certain categories and potentially ASINs that are gated below that. So it's just helpful to know, like, oh, well, I thought I was approved for Betty Crocker. Well, you were, but then you got gated at the ASIN level or at the category level. So then if you're approved for that brand, it's good to know where, right? So if you find that you come across an approval for Kohler, let's say, Kohler doesn't necessarily span multiple categories, but if they did, you could find out which category that product was in that you did have authorization for. Okay. And Ramon, how did you get to the bulk page again? Is that down at the?
It's in the options again.
Yeah. Okay.
So once you open up the options, it's right here. You got bulk mode.
Yeah, bulk mode. Yeah.
And if you want to clear your history, you could clear that.
Uh-huh.
This is just your settings for how often it'll check or use the cache.
Using the cache makes it go a little faster, right?
Yeah, because it come across similar things. If it checked the ASIN before, it's really no need to check it again because it's not going to be gated. It's going to be ungated.
So I don't want to get too far down a rabbit hole here, but I would like to just talk about how I put this into use, Ramon, from a bulk perspective. Okay. And then see if you want to add any additional texture to it. Okay.
Go ahead.
So
The way you use it is very nice. You showed me this and I was like, I like that.
maybe let me make sure I'm logged in on my side and I'll just run it from my side to make sure so I'm not directing you. Well, tell a story, Ramon, while I get my page set up.
Well, tell you a little bit about me. I'm retired NYPD. I was 9/11 first responder. I was a deputy sheriff in Florida. And on top of all that, I was also a DJ on the radio and in the clubs and everything. So I've done just about it all.
What's your DJ name?
DJ Bacardi, that's in the drink. And that's why there's a Bacardi symbol over there. Yeah. So that's really me. in a nutshell. Lived in Florida and I'm back in New York now.
So how come you went back to New York? And how long have you been there?
Paid me to open up their Manhattan location and DJ there. The time it was
Really?
there. Yeah.
Senior Frogs. Okay.
Yeah. And it's not there anymore. It didn't even last a year. They couldn't afford my salary, then they couldn't afford the rent. The rent was $300,000 a month.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, almost there. Let me just get to GateKeep. All right, I'm going to take over the screen share real quick, okay?
You got it.
Everyone can see my screen okay? Okay, so here I am in GateKeep Pro. There's two ways I can go about this. One of the ways I like to do it is start with an existing listing. Oh, did it? Are we still? Are we both sharing? Can you guys see my screen? Okay. All right. Is I like to start from a listing that has a good chunk of sellers on it, and so I have my columns configured a little, probably a bit differently than you do. I'm just going to sort by bought in the past month from low to high. I did a brand search here for a brand I know I'm ungated in. And I'm going to real quickly try and find a listing that I have seen 100 times before now.
We have a hard stop at the top of the hour, Brian. Don't forget.
Yep. Got you covered. Hold on a second here.
Does Ramon want to do any giveaways or promos or anything?
Great idea. I don't know. Do you have a plan of attack on the?
I do not. I was relying on you being the webinar expert.
Robin, do you have a plan? Do you have a way you think you can do that?
Ramon, you were going to give something away to one of the attendees, right?
Yes, a year free of GateKeep Pro.
Okay. So you want to do that on a random drawing?
Sure. Whichever way you suggest.
Okay. So this is what we did last time. It worked pretty well. We will send out the recording to everybody who's registered, and we'll do a random drawing from all the people who attended to win that prize. We'll let the person who won know first, and then we'll announce that there's a winner. So you'll know it's already there.
Sounds good to me.
So someone said they're having similar issues brain tapping. They keep saying that it doesn't have pro after he paid. So his email support, that's you, right, Ramon?
It's me. I'm the whole thing. I can pull up the email right now. I
I'm
replied to
here.
every single one.
So I have a list of 928 ASINs here that I'm just pasting in. Okay. And I'm going to start the bulk check. And I'm going to let it run for just a couple of minutes because what I'm trying to demonstrate here is the power that you get by working in bulk. And while that's running, I'm going to go to my website again and pull up that tool just to show you. This will save you a ton of time when you are doing your sourcing, where if you pull up a listing, like I was going through this Keepa list, like I was going to try and find a store here of one of these sellers. So I'll just pull this up and take a look at a Keepa chart real quick, as fast as it will load. Data and offers. Yes. There are 37 offers on this page. 37. Okay. Go make sure that you have your seller ID field turned on. So configure columns, make sure ID is checked right here. Then right click in this and copy the whole column. Then when we go back to Keepa, I'm going to start a new product finder search. Make sure I don't have anything in the brand field. Okay, I'm going to the seller ID section. I'm going to paste in all those 37 stores. Okay. And it's going to show me I have 98,215 products. Watch. I'm going to include historical offers. 458,000 products. Now, I'm going to filter this just a little bit down to minimum 50 sales per month. So that brings it all the way down to 19,000 products. Now, I can tell you that I have checked 10,000 unique ASINs for brand approval in GateKeep at one time. Now, I do this in 2 different tabs, so I'll show you exactly how I do it. But I can only get to the first 10,000 of that list, or the last 10,000 of that list. And because I don't like to compete on listings where that sell a whole bunch like these, because typically the price has been decided on these listings, where if other than Amazon doing, oddball things every once in a while, these prices are generally speaking pretty steady. So I'm going to reverse sort my bought in the past month from low to high. And look at how this green dot is coming up and showing me all the things I'm approved for. Once I have sort of gotten this set up, then I'll change my number of rows to 5,000 and let it go through and build the whole page of 5,000, which takes a couple of minutes, right, for it to get through, especially when I'm on a Zoom call. The other way that I can do it is just paste those ASINs once I have them exported from GateKeep and paste them right into here. And what I'll have is a list of these brands that Amazon says I'm already approved to sell. Okay. I'm just going to stop this search real quick and I'm going to export this CSV. All I really want is the brand. I'm going to export that. And this is the export of all those brands. Now there's only 50 on here, so I don't really get the full benefit of this when I'm going to utilize this tool. But you just paste them in here like this, turn on a minimum monthly sold and click on generate Keepa links. And there were 34 unique brands in there. And out of that list of, what was it? 34 unique brands that theoretically I was approved to sell at the brand level. I have 11,024 matching listings in Amazon. Now, as you can tell, a lot of these I'm not approved for. And this is what I was talking about, that 4-tier gating process that exists within Amazon. So what I need to do is now just scan this whole page like Ramon was demonstrating earlier. And however many of these 11,000 that I'm approved for is what I would take to do my bulk checking with, or take to my bulk checker. So whether that's Nepedo, Arbisource, Tactical Arbitrage, Arbitrage Hero, whatever tool it is that you're using to do that, if you're using one, this is the power of working in bulk. And that's why I love the tool, Ramon, because it made it so that I didn't have to go through and care about these ones that I'm not approved for or that I even have to apply for, because I will still have thousands. I guarantee you thousands of approved listings in here, because I started out with a brand approval. And even though I'm getting, restricted all the way down those 4 tiers, I'm still going to have a ton of listings here in Amazon that I can go match to sources. So I got a whole bunch of Adidas in here because I am approved at Adidas as well, but only in certain categories. So this is really the power of bulk sourcing to me. And then the last question I'm going to take for the night is, which software did we use to generate the Keep links? Not software. It's just a link it's just a resource on our official Olsen site. The page is called Keepa Links. So officialolsens.com, if you scroll down to the resources section right here, open that page, then it's called the Keepa Brand Link Builder. And that is this page right here. And
Not
so
showing that, Brian.
Okay. Yeah, official Olsen's page, go to resources, open that page. From here, it's the Keepa Brand Link Builder. And that is what opens this page. And so you just paste in up to 2,000 brand names. Turn on a minimum monthly sold filter if you want that. Click on generate Keepa links in a second or less. It's going to generate however many, because you can only do 50 brands in a Keepa Product Finder link at one time. So if you've got 500 brands, you'll get 10 groups, and you can open each one of these groups like I did in Keepa, and you'll see the number of results that you have for that group of brands. We work in bulk. We work like you need to start with a whole bunch of ASINs these days and a whole bunch of brands to find the ones that you're approved for. And Robin always says, like, people feel like they're looking for a needle in a haystack. Well, thanks to GateKeep, that haystack just got super small, because now we're only exporting the ones that we're approved for. And that's the power of this tool. So Ramon, I just want to say thank you, number one, for making the tool. Number two, for taking some time out of your night to come and do this demo and talk through your tool with everyone and just show people like you're a real person, just like they are.
Hey, I want to thank you, Robin, for having me on. I really appreciate that a lot.
It's been our pleasure and real proud to have you here. And thanks to everyone for coming tonight. So we'll be sending out a follow-up email to the winner of the 1 free year of GateKeep.
And even if you're already subscribed to GateKeep, I'll just add the
That's right. Yeah. Just tack it on to the end. Yeah. All right. Thanks,
All right.
everyone. Hope you have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.